G'day, mate. I hope you've had a good week. In this episode of the Exponential Performance Podcast, I sit down with herbalist Jennie Taylor and talk about her range of Sweet Cheeks products. These things are great. I've talked about them on the podcast before. Now, make sure you listen all the way to the end, because at the end of the podcast, we have got a special offer for you that you can take advantage of. But it's at the end, so make sure you listen all the way through. Without further ado, let's jump into it.
Welcome to the Exponential Performance Podcast. Join sports scientist and performance coach Maddie Graham to find out how to train smarter and maximize your performance no matter who you are.
G'day, mate. It's good to have you here for another episode of the Exponential Performance Podcast. Now, before we crack into things, how are you enjoying the length of the new podcasts? I've tried to keep them a bit shorter to try and make the information a little more digestible. So, if you could please leave a comment below about how you're finding the length of the shorter podcasts. Last week, in episode 12, we hit around the 20-minute mark. Was it a little bit too short? Not sure. Week before that, we're around about the 40-minute mark. This week, we're going to be around about the 30-minute mark. So, leave a comment below. How are you enjoying the shorter podcasts? Is it easier for you to listen to shorter podcasts, or do you prefer the longer ones so you can, say, go out and smash out a 1-hour training session, have a podcast that lasts a full hour, or do you prefer multiple short podcasts so you can listen to them on the way to work, or while you're making dinner, doing the vacuuming, or doing multiple podcasts during your bike session or your run session? Let me know. Comment below, please. Also, if you haven't done so already, head over to iTunes and leave me a review and a rating. It would be greatly appreciated so that this podcast can rate higher in the iTunes standing, so it can make it more sustainable going forward. So, without further ado, let's jump into this week's podcast content. And this week, I'm sitting down with Jennie Taylor from Sweet Cheeks. Now, for those that don't know, Sweet Cheeks is a company based out of Wanaka, New Zealand, just down the road from where I live, in fact, and they make a whole bunch of different balms and butters for the body. I've talked about them before, and I really rate them very, very highly. Butt butter is what they make for saddle sores or a chamois cream. They also make a hot cheeks, which is all about a massage rub. And they also make this awesome thing called Super Balm. I'm going to sit down with Jennie today and talk about these products, how she gets into actually making these things, how she goes about it, what she puts in them, and how you can use them, along with a few other tips and tricks, how you can maximize your performance. So without further ado, let's jump into the interview with Sweet Cheeks genius, Jennie Taylor. So, thank you so much for agreeing to come on the podcast and share some of your wisdom.
Oh yeah, no worries.
I guess where we'd start is just a little bit of your background, how you actually got into the butt butter trade. How does someone start making, bum cream, for want of a better word?
Well, when I was living in Durango, Colorado, and I was working with a woman who was an herbalist, and she had a shop, so I helped her manage the shop, and also she taught me a lot, and we made lots of things. We made creams and all sorts of things. She taught me how to make, so we did that for a few years, and then we came back to New Zealand, and I had my first son. I kept making things, and my husband was working at a bike shop at the time, and he was doing lots of really long distance riding. and using a chamois cream that was sort of imported from the States and had a lot of it was really expensive, and it had a lot of chemicals in it. And I thought, oh, I'm going to just start making it because I'm sure I could make a better product. And so I started making it, and then our friends were part owners of a bike shop, and they were sort of like, oh, put a label on it and we'll sell it for you. So it started really slow, but then slowly, the mountain biking community in Wanaka, people started using it and people started talking about it. So it slowly sort of grew from there. And, now I'm sort of in, stores all over New Zealand, and yeah.
Right. So how do you actually go about making, your butt butter, your super balm?
Yep. What I do is I get, I'm really particular about the ingredients I use, and I find the best supplier of the ingredient in New Zealand. And so I sort of order the ingredients in, and I use lots of herbs in the product that are specific for certain things. Usually in the butt butter, it's for like antiseptic, antifungal, things like that. And anyway, so I make a specific herbal oil for each of the balms, and then I melt that with the beeswax I get from an organic bee farmer in Alexandra. And then I also use cocoa butter, and I use pure essential oils as well. So sort of lots of lovely ingredients, and you kind of melt them all down and let it cool, and that's how you make it. It's pretty simple, but I think the key is getting the right combination of ingredients, and also keeping the ingredients at a very high quality.
Big time. I mean, it's like one of those things, often in life, the best things are simple but not overly easy to do the correct way, are they?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and that's true. I do want to keep it simple, and I want to just keep the ingredients high quality. That's my priorities. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I've used butt butter for many years with multi-sport and endurance riding and that sort of thing, and yeah, I haven't found anything that is better. Tried multiple things, and I used it in a lot of the long distance bike packing events that I do. So Tour of Aotearoa, which was the length of New Zealand, and I ran out of it about halfway, or just over halfway, 3/4 of the way down the country, and I had to then go to Vaseline. And it was the most disappointing change I've ever made in my life. And no matter how much Vaseline I could use, it would not help. So just explain to me on a slightly deeper level, what is the difference, say, between Vaseline and your butt butter? Because on the surface, they kind of look the same in terms of the lubricating, but that's probably where the things in common stop. What's the difference of them?
I feel like, I guess Vaseline is just a petroleum byproduct, really, and that's the only thing it has in it. And then for mine, it's I think it's actually the mixture of the oils and the beeswax and the cocoa butter, and I really feel like it's the beeswax that sort of helps it stick to your skin a little bit better than Vaseline would, and it doesn't sort of rub off. It doesn't rinse off as easily, like if you're sweating or you get wet or whatever, as a Vaseline would. I really feel like it's the beeswax part that makes the barrier part of it so much better than like Vaseline or other chamois creams.
With it as well, I just purely on a personal note here, because something I've noticed, does it have like a numbing effect slightly? Is that something that's in it? Because I've had, say, like after 3 or 4 days on the bike, you get some, it's not a very pleasant topic to talk about, some pretty bad saddle sores though. And I've found that if rubbing that into them, it sort of numbs them a little bit. Is that intentional, or would that be something that you put in there, or is that just a figment of my imagination?
Well, it could be because I use essential oil of manuka and lavender, and that they can be a bit could make for their antibacterial, antifungal properties, and that could do that. But but I actually haven't heard that before. But that's a bummer. You're still getting saddle sores and using it.
I don't.
But maybe too much riding.
Well, yeah, I think because that's kind of like 300 kilometers a day on multiple days, 18 hours a day in the saddle. So I don't think you'd be able to do that much without saddle sores. But it's just the nature of the beast, I guess. But the Sweet Cheeks definitely helps prevent it or prolongs the number of days before these things start to happen. Because you ideally don't want to wake up on your second day and have saddle sores after the first one, but you want to prolong it as long as you can,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. What about the Super Balm? Because I've just recently started trying this, and it, without wanting to say it's magic, it sort of seems like it's a little magic. You put it on anything and it seems to work. Like, I had this nasty little thing on my foot happening. I don't really know what it was, little fungally thing. Rubbed some of that on it, and in a couple of days it dried up and went away.
Perfect. Yeah, I do. Actually, that is the Super Balm is my definitely my favorite product out of the three I make. And I think I put quite a few different herbs in there and essential oils, just and I feel like it's incredibly healing for any sort of skin condition you might have. I seriously, in my family, we use it all the time. We just put it on any sort of skin funky thing the kids have or whatever, and it seems to heal it up. It's got comfrey and calendula in it, and I feel, and they're both really incredibly healing to the skin, those herbs. And the oil I make for the Super Balm, I make it a very high percentage of the oil is the herbal extract. So I think it's quite concentrate in those little tins. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think it is. I think it is quite healing to the skin. And yeah, it's cool. I'm glad you like it. That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not much of a moisturizer, kind of person. I get up and have a shower, and that's pretty much my sort of personal hygiene. And I don't have creams that I rub on or things that I do, but this this stuff's been great, especially hands as well. My hands have been getting a hammering lately. I also work in a gym as part of my role with High Performance Sport New Zealand. So I'm inside all day picking up things, putting them down, and hands get really dry, and then riding and that sort of thing as well. And found it's been brilliant to take care of that.
Oh, cool. Oh, excellent. Yeah, it's good in the winter, isn't it, when everything dries out? It's good to have something.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
So I've seen some photos on your website of the sort of process of making these things, and it seems like you melt everything down together or slowly warm it up in a big bowl and then pour it out. It looks like quite an amazing process.
Oh, yeah, you should come on actually sometime to my workshop and have a look. Yeah, it is. I love it. It's that's exactly it. We sort of get everything to the same temperature and then pour it in the tins, and then it cools and sets to the balm. But the key is to make the balm so it's not too hard and not too soft, just sort of the right consistency.
Without giving away too many trade secrets, how do you go about doing that? What do you put in more of, or what do you put in less of to get that right consistency?
Oh, well, it's the secret ratio.
That's the secret.
No, it's just getting the ratio between your waxes and your oils, the right ratio to make the the right consistency for the balm. Yeah. And it just takes some playing around.
Yeah. Is, just purely out of curiosity, what's the difference, I guess, between a wax and an oil? Because I sort of imagine them as a similar thing. One is a solid form, and one kind of like a vegetable oil versus a animal fat. One's solid at room temperature, the other one's liquid. Are they kind of like that, or am I on the wrong track completely?
No, yeah, I mean that's totally. Yeah, it's just sort of whatever it is at room temperature. But I mean beeswax will go completely, if heated up, it will be complete liquid. And same with I like cocoa butter as well. So that heated up, that just turns into a liquid. And there's sort of the same density as oil. So if you heat everything together and give it a mix, it all just cools and sets the same. Whereas if you added water, then the water would separate and it would be all different. But the oils and the waxes combine quite nicely together. Yeah. So right. Then when they cool, it's all in one nice consistent group.
yeah, for sure. And the Sweet Cheeks butt butter as well, it's got a nice scent to it as well. Like a lot of other chamois creams are quite chemically, that, because I guess they use that sort of petroleum jelly as a lot of their base and I find that I literally put it everywhere, so feet, groin, and so all of my gear ends up smelling like it at the end of a long event. And I went the length of New Zealand literally without washing my gear at all. Every day I wore it, and it just smelled like a lot of things, but butt butter as well.
Well, good. Maybe that was contributed to the better part of the scent.
It didn't smell great, but again, feet remained remarkably well intact. For 18 hours a day. That's cool. Yeah,
the
feet's a big one, eh?
Especially, it's huge, actually. Yeah.
Even with mountain, long distance mountain biking, I find it's really good on the feet, just because you do get start to get hot spots in your shoes, and just the wear and tear that you get on your feet. It does make a huge difference.
Absolutely. I feel like I need to do a bit more education about putting it on your feet, because I use it for hiking or running or whatever. Yep. I think it's really good.
Yeah, it should just be called body butter, everywhere butter.
Oh, yeah, I could change it. Yeah, definitely. That's not a bad idea.
So with all of your history of, working with, herbal sort of healing and working for the herbalist in America where you learnt this all, do you have any sort of top tips for endurance athletes of how they could take care of common problems with, herbal healing?
Oh, well, my go-tos whenever I'm training for I mainly do longer running races. I don't do any bike racing or anything, but my big things is just drinking lots of water and stretching. But so that's not very herbal, but that's mainly what I do. But then if I do get anything niggly, I just try to stay on top of it with hot cheeks. I like any muscle niggly things, I try to rub hot cheeks into it, and just with the arnica in there and the chili are both really powerful anti-inflammatories. So I try to just use that a few times a day and just try to get the inflammation down, and just try to keep stretching it. And then as far as taking any herbs and that, I guess probably I think it just depends on sort of where you're at and what issues you have specifically. It just depends on your situation, like if you're burnt out or or if you're low in iron and stuff. There's lots of different tonics you can take for that sort of thing. I think if someone's burnt out, just a lot of rest and recovery, and then also just I'm a big fan of tinctures. So that's alcoholic extracts of herbs, and things like licorice, things like, if you're a woman, like red raspberry. They're all great for the adrenals, and for fatigue, and what I really recommend is that you can get like a custom blend made to your what's happening with yourself. I'm a huge fan of tinctures, and then things with, like, if you're low in iron, things like yellow dock is really helpful. Yeah, I think herbs are amazing. I mean, I think at any stage in your life, I think you need to look at sort of what your diet is and whatever, and how your body is. But then also, if you need some extra healing, I think herbs are amazing, and that's why I use them in all my products. I think that they have incredible powers or ability to heal the body in so many ways. So I think if you were an endurance athlete and you were suffering from one of these things, it's so easy to just go to the doctor and ask for some, your iron supplement or whatever. But using herbs or whatever would, it's sort of, I feel it helps assimilate in your body better than just taking a straight pill does. And I think it works on many different levels that sort of just your average supplement wouldn't do.
You've got quite a good, on your website, quite a good page of the ingredients that you use and all of your products, and it gives you a good wee rundown of each of the herb or ingredient that you use and what it does in the body to help. I found that quite interesting, reading through that and having a wee read up on all the different things.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely put everything in my products for a reason. Nothing's in there if it doesn't, if that's just for show or whatever. They all are definitely specific for a reason. They're all put in for a reason. Yeah.
What does your being an endurance athlete yourself, doing your running and a mum to active children as well, what does your, let's call it, medicine cabinet or your herbal medicine cabinet look like for things that you use for yourself, whether it be supplements or little bits and pieces? If you wouldn't mind sharing something on that, I think it'd be quite interesting. Right.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty basic. I don't believe in sort of taking huge amounts of supplements unless you need it. I do like spirulina, algae, and I also do fish or flaxseed oil, just for the essential fatty acids that you might be missing. And then pretty much our go-to is if there's sort of anything funky or fungal, we use super balm, and tea tree oil seems to be sort of the magic combination, just for that added, the tea tree oil, just for the added kick for the antifungal or bacterial or whatever. And then the other thing we use is I'm a huge fan of the kiwi herb tinctures that I guess I was talking about, and they do amazing ones for kids, sort of immunity and respiratory. But I guess in general I'm a huge fan of just sort of rest and letting your body just try to get back on track.
The old listening to your body. I did have somebody comment that they brought some of your super balm following, I think I mentioned it on the podcast here or on Instagram, and they said they found it really useful for eczema.
Ah, cool. Yep, I have heard that. And the butt butter is actually great for eczema because it, I think the thing with eczema is you want to keep the skin sort of moist or wet, sort of. And so the butt butter will just keep your skin so it doesn't dry out and start cracking and that. My son had bad eczema, but Sweet Cheeks, or the butt butter in particular, I found quite good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. I'd love to do some more. I'd love to market it towards that, but I don't. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, people have found it, have used it for all sorts of different things than its intended use.
Yeah. Are there any other unknown ones that people wouldn't commonly know of for alternative uses for your products?
Oh, ooh, anti-aging? No. Just wetsuit chafing, I've heard quite a few kayakers tell me that sort of lower back, in the kayak.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That better stuff. But I guess people would work that out. I mean, for wetsuits, the obvious spots where that rubs, but.
Yeah. I know a lot of triathletes using it in their wetsuits for swimming under the armpits and around the neck.
Around the neck, yeah, and it's safe to use with wetsuits. I actually had a guy at Blue 70 take it to their lab and test it out, and he said, we prefer that they use nothing with the wetsuit, but if they have to use something, then your product is approved or whatever.
Oh, there you go. You heard it here first.
It's not gonna, I know. So it's not going to eat your wetsuit or ruin it or whatever.
I know, that's fantastic. And where can everybody find out more about Sweet Cheeks and the amazing line of products that you have?
sweetcheeksnz.co.nz, or I'm at sweetcheeksnz on social media. So yeah.
Awesome.
Or your local bike shop.
Yeah, it is around a lot of different stores around New Zealand, isn't it?
Yeah, it is actually. I'm in 75 shops around New Zealand, so we've got most bigger towns covered. So that's in one shop or another.
What about our international listeners? If they're wanting a wee slice of New Zealand greatness, are you able to get it offshore?
Oh yeah, I can post it to you, but I am working on getting into Australia slowly. So we'll see. Watch this space.
Yeah, fantastic, mate. Yeah, if there are any athletes overseas, which I know there are a lot of overseas listeners that listen to this podcast, and you are wanting to find out, the best of what New Zealand has to offer in terms of anti-chafe and just general greatness, I'd highly recommend checking out Sweet Cheeks.
Oh, thank you.
No, that's brilliant, Jenny. Hey, thank you so much for your time. And
no worries. Thanks for having me.
It was brilliant and a really interesting insight into how things operate and how things are made. It's not often that you get the inside story, and it sounds like, all of your stuff is, personally, handmade, which is amazing in this day and age as well.
In this day and age, I know, right? But I can't give it up. It's my favorite part of of my job.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. I'll let you get back to your evening. I appreciate that you're extremely busy and probably have a lot of other things you'd rather be doing than talking to me about butt butter.
No, it's been great. I really appreciate you having me on your show.
So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed that wee chat that I had with Jennie Taylor. Now, I told you at the start that there was going to be a special offer at the end. You can get free shipping worldwide when you purchase any Sweet Cheeks product. All you have to do is enter the code FREESHIP, that's all one word, capital letters, when you check out, and you'll get free shipping worldwide. If you want to try out the butt butter, you can get a small sample size butt butter for only $2.50, and that can be shipped worldwide. $2.50. It's not even going to cover the shipping costs on that bad boy. I would highly recommend you get the sample pack where you get butt butter, super balm, and a hot cheeks, all in a little 15-gram sample container. $15, free shipping worldwide. You've got your butt covered, you've got your muscles covered, and you've got any skin problems covered. Highly, highly recommended. So that code again is free ship at checkout, worldwide free shipping over at sweetcheeksnz.co.nz. I'll post all of those details so you can revisit them over at the Exponential Performance Coaching website under the podcast tab, episode 13, so you can make sure you take advantage of this great deal. If you've got any other questions, just get in touch with Jennie via her website and she'll sort out any problems that you have. So until next week, train hard, but most importantly, train smart.